First, the USDA's Justice for All non-discriminatory statement, which simply states that all persons must be treated equally without regard to their race, color, national origin, sex, religious creed, disability, age, political beliefs, or reprisal or retaliation for prior civil rights activity, and that our institution provides an inclusive space for all. For more information on the And Justice for All statement, please visit the USDA's website.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Ozzy Hernandez, and I'm a nutrition educator for Rutgers Cooperative Extension of Camden County's Department of Family and Community Health Sciences. And I want to welcome everyone back, or if this is your first time watching, welcome you to our virtual Heart Smarts lessons. These are our lessons that we really gear towards if you shop a lot in corner stores, bodegas, small stores, but they're also tips that you can use when you're grocery shopping just about anywhere. Today's lesson is on calcium. So we have some ingredients here for our demonstration today, which we're going to be making a fruit smoothie, and we're going to tie it into the lesson today as well. Before we get started into the lesson and all the information that I have to give you, I want to leave you with a couple questions before we jump in. So first is, what are the foods that you think of first when you're thinking about calcium and calcium sources? Why is calcium important for our body? So what role does it serve, and why do you want to make sure that you're getting enough calcium? And then how can you pick out healthy sources for calcium? So what are some ways you can make those choices healthier while also making sure that you're getting the calcium that you need per day? What's the requirement as well? So calcium, and what I want to show everyone here is the diagram here. This is my plate. So my plate is the diagram that shows you the different parts of a healthy meal, or what makes a healthy meal. And you have 5. You have fruits, vegetables, protein, grains, and dairy. So for today, we're actually going to be talking about this part right here, which is the 5th. It's dairy. That's really where a lot of your calcium can come from, right? So that's a really good calcium source. Now, when we're thinking about dairy, the first thing that usually comes to mind is milk. So anything that's milk-based. So think, regular milk, either fat-free, 1%, 2% whole milk. A lot of people think about cheese. You also think about yogurt. So those are the 3 main sources that as soon as I say calcium, people think, oh, there you go. Calcium, the role that calcium plays in our body. So it's super important for our bones and our teeth health. So it's really important that you get the amount that you need. The recommended amount is about 3 cups per day, but it's not just milk. So while milk is the most common way to get your calcium, it isn't the only way. There are a lot of people that can't have milk. If you're like me, you might not be a fan of milk. So there are a couple different ways that I want to show you. So you have obviously your milk, you have your milk alternatives. So if you're a bigger fan of the plant-based milks, like almond milk or maybe soy milk, cashew milk, anything like that, they do have those options available now in a lot of stores. And what you're looking for in there is just make sure that it's fortified with calcium. Some of them do not have it, so you have to pay a little bit of attention there. And then you also have orange juice, which can be fortified with calcium. So you'll probably see that on the label right up front. You also have dark leafy greens. So we're always making a really big point of making sure that a quarter of your plate should be vegetables. And that's super important, not just because you want to make sure that you're getting all the vegetables and vitamins from there, but it's also another great way for you to get calcium and some other vitamins that you can use. So calcium, really 2 of the biggest ones for calcium are spinach and collards. Those are really fantastic calcium sources if you can't have milk, or if you can't find any of the plant-based options. Dark leafy greens like spinach and collards are fantastic. And then the other one is sardines, or any kind of canned fish that has the bone in them. Those are also really fantastic ways for you to get calcium. Now, a lot of people aren't really too crazy on the sardines, But that's why you have all of these different ways to get calcium into your day. That way you don't have to focus on one specific source. So if you don't like one, you can pick another. So what are the things that you want to watch out for, and how can you choose healthy options for calcium? So for dairy options, the very first one that you want to think about, if you're going with a dairy option or a milk-based option, think about either milk or your yogurt. Try and go with an option that is unflavored. So for milk, think about chocolate milk or strawberry milk. Try and go with a plain milk, and same thing with yogurt. You want to stay away from a lot of the added sugar. Yeah, there is natural sugar in the milk itself, but once you get into the chocolate flavored one, or let's say you go with a yogurt, you're getting vanilla yogurt or strawberry yogurt, maybe you get the yogurts with the little cookies up top, you're adding a lot of sugar to your day that you don't necessarily need. So be careful with that. And then picking low fat options. So going with 1% or fat-free options. Now, let's say you're someone that really enjoys or has gotten really used to drinking and eating things that are used from whole milk or full fat versions. What you want to do is, in order to kind of bring down the amount of fat that you're getting in the day while also getting your calcium, do it in stages. So if you're drinking whole milk, go down to 2%. And then after some time, bring yourself down to 1%. And then after a while, you can do fat-free, try it out, see if you like it. Maybe you don't like fat-free milk and you go back to 1%, that's fine. Almost make that like a year-long goal, because it does take time for your taste buds to get used to something. So that's a big recommendation. I'm a bigger fan of fat-free and 1% options, but I know that not everyone is, so maybe that tip helps you out. The other one is try plant-based options for either milk or yogurt. You might find that you like almond milk more than regular milk, and that's great. So choose those options. And with that, be careful with the flavored versions. So if you're getting something that's the sweetened vanilla almond milk or cashew milk or whatever plant-based milk or yogurt, it's gonna have a lot of added sugar to it. So stay away from those. Going with the unsweetened versions, going with the unflavored versions, those are super important. And then with canned fish, and we've talked about it when we talked about proteins, being careful with the fat. So with canned fishes like sardines, or maybe you're getting salmon, getting the ones in water and not in oil. That's super important to avoid a lot of added fat that's going to be sitting in. So what are some ways that you can add calcium into your day? Maybe you don't have a good idea about how you can do that right now. And what options can you normally find in a corner store to have more calcium? So if you are going to the corner store, maybe you want something sweet, see if they do smoothies. Fruit smoothies are really are one of my favorite snacks, especially if I'm looking for something sweet. So in your fruit smoothie, adding some yogurt, adding some fat-free milk, right? If you're someone that likes a green smoothie, maybe seeing if they can add some green veggies, some dark leafy greens in there. That way it's blended in. So that's an option. You can also see if they have fortified orange juice to have with your lunches. Adding dark leafy greens to your sandwiches. So if you're going to the deli a lot and you want to add a little bit more calcium, but they don't have the fortified orange juice, seeing if they have spinach that they could add onto your sandwich or add on the side of your meal. Maybe you're going in for breakfast, getting spinach added into your omelets, if that's what you get. And then finally, grabbing a single serve yogurt, right? And in this case, you can go and maybe they don't have an unflavored yogurt, maybe grabbing the vanilla one, and instead of grabbing something with like all the cookies on it on top, maybe grabbing that and having some fruit on the side as well. So yeah, it's a little bit on the sugary side, but having the fruit there to provide some fiber. So with that, I want to show you our recipe for today. So this is a fruit smoothie. This is actually a little simple, right? You can use a lot of the different ingredients that you have at home. This is just what I have on hand right now. And I'm going to go one by one. So we have our calcium sources here. This is fat-free vanilla yogurt. So I'm using a little bit sweet. It's about half a cup. I also have a cup of almond milk, unflavored, right? And that's really just to work as a base and also make it a little bit more of a liquid, because what I'm doing as well is I'm using some frozen fruit. So you can use fresh fruit, you can use canned fruit. I'm using frozen pineapples. Now you can have a different mix. So you can probably put, one of my favorite mix here would be some pineapple, banana, and some mango, right? You could also do different berries if you're a fan of that. I'm going with pineapple. It's what I had on hand. And then finally, I have about half a cup of orange juice, just to kind of, again, add a little bit more of a liquid, add some vitamin C, but also it also works to give me a little bit more sweetness. So I have my blender here, and what I'll do first is I'm going to scoop in my cup of pineapple, right? I tend to do the fruit first, so it's closer by the blade, so it blends a little bit better. I'll add my yogurt in afterwards. Sorry for the unnecessary sounds. Make sure I get enough of it in there. I will add the unflavored almond milk. And I might not use all of the orange juice, but I'll probably do a little bit. Actually, I'll do it all just for a little bit more flavor. And once I've got it covered, I'm gonna hit it. Sorry, it's gonna get a little loud. So it looks like it's pretty blended in. Now this is going to be just about 2 servings. So what I'm going to do is I have my one singular cup. Just pour a little bit there. I might need a little bit more. And here's my straw for decoration. So there you have it. Again, feel free to play with the recipe as much as you want. You know, maybe you don't want to use the almond milk. Maybe you want regular milk. Maybe you want to use different fruit. You can also introduce some leafy greens in there to make it more of a green smoothie. You can do that as well. Play around with it. So feel free to like our page, Rutgers FCHS Camden. That way you can see these videos as they pop up as well, and feel free to share them. So with that, thank you everyone for being here today, and we'll see you next time.